Alright, it's Henry again, and this is my review of the Master Grade Tallgeese II. Alright, so this is the Master Grade Tallgeese II, snapped together straight out of the box, no paint, no panel lines. Pretty much all the colors are correct on this guy. They've done a few little color differences from the original Tallgeese II color scheme. Mainly there's a little bit more blue on the thruster pods here. You've got some parts that should be black but are actually molded in gray, like the feet, for example, and just other little things. The only real painting you're going to have to do is the white trim on the head crest here, and then green for the eyes. Of course, they do give you stickers for the head crest. But other than that, you could just, leave them as is. As far as stuff you get with the kit, you obviously get a Tallgeese II. You will get a dauber gun, a shield with 2 beam sabers, beam saber blades, clear pink curved type. Let's see, you get the swappable Gundam wing hands, meaning you have a posable thumb, and then you have open hands, beam saber hands, dauber gun hands, and closed fists. You will also be getting 3 pilot figures. There's a small tray sitting in the cockpit. You will get a teeny tiny standing Tres Cushionata, and a teeny tiny standing Lady Un figure. And as far as stickers go, you get a small sheet of foil stickers, basically just green for the eyes, silver for the camera that's behind the faceplate, white trim for the head crest, and then some gray circular decals that are going to go on the thruster pods. And you get a nice sheet of water slide decals. So now that all that is out of the way, we can start with articulation. I forgot to mention you also get a action-based connector for Tallgeese II. Alright, so the articulation on this guy is practically exactly the same as on Master Grade Tallgeese EW, since it is basically just a color swap with a new head. So you've got rotation, 360 rotation at the head, forward and back, tilting side to side. This little blue part moves along with the neck. You've got ball joint at mid-torso, and then another ball joint connecting at the waist. Limited rotation, just because of the way the torso and the skirt armor are designed. Opening cockpit hatch. Arms are on kind of a funky ball joint type thing that comes out like so and can go forward and back and up and down a little bit. And then the actual shoulder joint comes out. Shoulder armor can rock up and down. Got this little thingy here, but that's for the weapons. Rotation 360. Pretty much 180 degree bend at the elbow. Some cool moving panels on the elbow armor. Ball jointed wrist, ball jointed thumbs. Already told you about the swappable fingers. Front skirts are teeny tiny and are just on a swivel, not a ball joint. Side skirts are on a ball joint. They're actually connected here, and these 2 blue parts are connected, and then this is connected to the leg, and they all move together as one kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's just really cool looking. Anyway, all 3 of those parts, the thigh and the 2 skirt armors, all move together, and it just looks pretty nice. Back skirts can open up and reveal thrusters. They open up individually. Hip joints can go forward. They can go out about that far, not very much. They can go back till they hit the back skirts. Got a little bit of rotation there. Knee armor can bend and come apart like so. Get pretty, almost 180 degree bend. He's got really fat thighs, so it kind of prevents a full 180. Ball joint at the ankle, so side to side, forward and back, 360 rotation. Then another ball joint down at the foot that'll give you side to side and front and back again. And the little end of the toe can move up and down. Thruster pods are connected via these little arms on the torso. Those can go up and down, and then up and down again at the thruster pod. 360 rotation there. And you just grab the top, grab the bottom, and pull, and they pop right open. This little fin comes out. These thrusters can move back and forth a little bit, and just squeeze, and it closes back up. So that was my abbreviated short version of the articulation, seeing as how it's practically the same as Tallgeese. Alright, now on to weapons and accessories. I guess I'll start off with the Dauber gun. It's got a ball joint attachment right here with this little arm that's got a couple of joints on it, and this guy right here that's going to peg in the shoulder armor. I'll show you that in a second. You got a handle here at the bottom that can rotate out and swivel, so that is a nice little feature. The main handle can go back and forth, and the coolest feature, I think, is the blowback action. When he fires, you get this thing. The empty shell is released there, and sometimes it kind of this little part back here kind of sticks. There we go. So it's got a little spring inside the Dauber gun, so ideally it's supposed to snap back in place, but it doesn't always. And you've got a little hatch right here on the shoulder. I showed you there's a polycap up in there. And this simply plugs into place. Very, very easy to do. Shield, simple round shield. Back of it is pretty interesting. Pretty much the same kind of connectors, just an L shape instead of an S shape. That's going to plug into the shoulder armor. Your beam sabers are right here. And of course, you got clear pink beams. There's a hole in the side of the beam saber handle that's going to plug into these little pegs that are on the fingers, so that's how the beam sabers work. And also there's a little handle on the underside of the shield that swivels, and just like the Dauber gun, it plugs into the shoulder armor like so. And they're not right or left specific, so I don't see any reason why you couldn't switch sides with them. And I warned about this in Master Grade Tallgeese EW's review. The Master Grade Tallgeese is kind of back heavy because of these thruster pods, so having an action base really helps. Plus, the Tallgeese looks really, really cool when it's in aerial poses like this. And as you can see, it also has no problem holding the Dauber gun. And here's just a quick look at Tallgeese II's inner frame. Exactly the same as on the Tallgeese 1, only molded in a slightly lighter shade of gray. And here you can see some of the detail up under the face plate. It's all molded in white, so if you want to paint it, if you want it to be gray, you're going to have to paint it. But there you go. Okay, so after painting the Tallgeese II, this is what it ends up looking like. I basically just did a copy the box art color scheme on him. I did change a few little things here and there, like originally on the kit, these parts on the thruster pod were blue. I painted those white just to be a little bit more anime accurate. The stripes on the back of the head were yellow, like the head crest. I went ahead and did those orange. The feet I painted black instead of that light gray they were molded in. Same thing with the shoulder joints down in there. And obviously used a darker gray for the inner frame than what the kit originally had. But other than that, pretty much the same colors he came in. As far as decals go, the only decals I used from this kit were the Oz00 MS2 on the shoulder, the Tallgeese 2 on that shoulder, and then the shield decals. Everything else I had custom made kind of. People asked me on my Tallgeese 1, my TV color version, how I got white versions of the Tallgeese EW decals for like the skirt armor and the thruster pods and stuff. I went to Samuel Decal, some of you know who he is, and had him print up the Tallgeese EW decals in all white ink. And I used that for the black parts on my Master Grade Tallgeese, and did the same thing for Tallgeese II. I got a waterslide copy of Tallgeese EW's decals, and I was able to use most of them for like the legs and the thruster pods and like the arms and dauber gun here. But a few of these blue parts that were originally white on the Tallgeese, I had to use the white decals I got from Samuel, like on the torso and the shoulders and the skirt armor. So I actually think it turned out really, really well. They sharply printed and they just look really, really good. So that is the Tallgeese II. I guess I ought to do a quick comparison to the Tallgeese 1. So there they are side by side. Again, pretty much just the same mold with a different head and then a color swap. And really quick before we wrap up, I did want to show off the famous Tallgeese II pose. In the little addendum manual that they give us, they actually suggest taking a piece off of the barrel of the dauber gun, which actually makes the barrel a bit shorter. As you can see here, it is compared to the Tallgeese 1's dauber gun. And that way you can do this pose without having Tallgeese 2's hands all up in his face. So I actually think it looks pretty good. Also, one little thing I do want to show off are the tiny little trays and Lady Un figures. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus on them. There they are. Painted those up. Also painted the one that's inside the cockpit in the Tallgeese 2 as well. So that about does it for my review of Master Grade Tallgeese 2. Like I said, this guy is a Bandai Online Hobby Shop exclusive, so if you can find him for a decent price that you're willing to pay, then go for it. Some people might not be crazy about this kit since it is just a color swap with a new head from the Tallgeese EW, but if you're a fan of Gundam Wing like me, or you're just a fan of the Tallgeese design, then I would say go for it, because it is a nice little kit, and definitely the best version of the Tallgeese 2 that Bandai has made so far. Pretty much it has the same strengths and the same weaknesses as the Tallgeese EW. It's pretty back heavy. It was kind of a struggle just to get him to stand in this pose right here. Other than that, the detail and the inner frame are really nice. The posability is really good. Color separation is good. The only part I really had to do any serious masking on were the white stripes on top of the head, but even then they give you stickers for those. So I guess that about does it, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.